This video is going to be talking about reaction mechanisms. So a reaction mechanism is a reaction in which the reaction is taking place in more than one step. And so it's unlikely that several particles are going to collide with sufficient energy in the correct orientation in a single step. So reactions actually often occur in more than one step. For example, let's have a look at this reaction. We have 4 molecules of this will react with 1 molecule of this. So 1 molecule of oxygen with 1 molecule of HBr. Now, 4 molecules of HBr. So it's pretty unlikely that 4 molecules of HBr will collide simultaneously with 1 molecule of oxygen. Whereas if you have a unimolecular reaction, for example, let's say we have Na plus Cl minus goes to NaCl. This reaction is more likely to occur in a single step because 1 molecule just has to be in the right orientation with another molecule in order for it to be successful. So here's how this reaction actually takes place. First of all, HBr reacts with oxygen to make this species here. Now, this species, if you remember from our last lecture, is called what? Pause the video and see if you can tell me what this is. So this species is known as an intermediate because it is produced and consumed in the reaction. And you can have multiple intermediates in a reaction mechanism. So, this is how this reaction occurs. Notice that if we add this reaction, so we cancel species out, for example, this will cancel with this will cancel with this, note the intermediates are cancelling, then what we have is the overall reaction. So we have 4 HBr plus O2 goes to 2 H2O plus Br2. So this is the reaction that is taking place. This is the overall, just balance that correctly. This is the overall reaction, which is a sum of the individual steps. So, if we were to draw a diagram of the potential energy for this reaction, it would look like this. This is step 1. This is step 2. And this is step 3. Now, which step do you think is the slowest step of this reaction? Step 1, step 2, or step 3? Pause the video and see if you can figure it out. So the rate limiting step of this reaction is step 2. And the reason it's step 2 is because it has the highest activation energy, which is the difference between the reactants and this peak here. So the higher the activation energy, the greater the amount of energy for a successful collision, the slower the rate of reaction. This is also known as the rate determining step. The slowest step of the reaction, which is step 2, is the rate determining step. So let's try this. A plus B2 goes to AB2. AB2 plus A goes to A2B2. And A2B2 plus C2 goes to 2AC plus B2. 2A plus C2 goes to 2AC. So that is the overall reaction that we have found from this mechanism. What is the role of species B in this mechanism? Pause the video and see if you can figure it out. So B2 is consumed and then it's produced again. Catalyst. B2 is a catalyst. This is how we find a catalyst, if it is produced and consumed. What about this reaction? Pause the video and see if you can have a go at this one. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's see what happens. So, in this reaction, we have this species. And it's produced here and it's consumed here and produced here. So CH3COO minus is our catalyst. Nice. What about CH3COOH? Well, it's produced and it's consumed at the end. So that is our intermediate. Is an intermediate. The overall reaction here, when we cancel the intermediates, then we have, well, and the catalyst as well. So anything that appears on both sides you can cancel, provided the number of moles are equal. So this is how this reaction happens. So, how does a catalyst actually work? So catalysts make reaction kinetics different. They do not change the thermodynamics of the reaction. So what do we mean by that? The catalyst will change the activation energy. So they will change the rate of reaction. But they will not change the delta H, delta U, delta S. Don't worry if you don't know these two, of the reaction. So common catalysts that we actually see are things like biological catalysts, which are things like enzymes. We also have platinum, so sometimes we have metal catalysts. And one good example is the metal catalyst, so palladium carbon catalysts, which when we have a molecule like this, what we can do is we can change it to this. So remember that carbon only makes 4 bonds. So what we've done is we've added hydrogens. And this is the double bond, so we added the hydrogens to the double bond. And what this catalyst does is it allows for a surface to interact with this alkene, this is the alkene, to put the hydrogen across the double bond. So, this is an introduction to reaction mechanisms.